And good evening and welcome to the City Council meeting of the City of Lenoir for Tuesday, April the 7th, 2020. We're glad that you're with us this evening, whether you're here live, there are a few of us are, and then with those that are joining us on the Zoom video, we welcome you as well. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for working together to continue to make our community as safe as we possibly can. So there are a few members here. Council members Todd Perdue, David Stevens, myself, Mayor Pro Tem Chrissy Thomas, Council Member Ben Willis, City Manager Scott Hildebrand, Public Works Director Jared Wright will be joining, he's here with us, and Joshua Harris, our Information Director, is also here in the meeting. Now, let's do a roll call, if we can, of those who are on video with us, if you will. We'll start with our council members who are there. If you will, state your name that you're here.
Mike Perkins is here.
Okay, Councilmember Perkins. Councilmember John Beal is here.
Ralph just said.
Councilmember Ralph Presswood is here. Okay.
Jonathan Beal.
Jonathan's here, thank you. That covers our council. Now, department heads, if you will, unmute and give us that you're here, please.
Chief Phelps is here.
Chief Phelps, thank you.
Chief Hare's here.
Chief Hare, thank you.
Kenny Story's here.
Kenny, thank you.
Kaylin Horn is here.
Kaylin, thank you.
Jenny Wheelock is here.
Jenny, thank you. Anyone else? Radford, is he gonna be?
I'll wait home, so he's
Okay.
almost here.
Okay. Okay, good.
City Attorney.
There's Radford.
Okay, if you will, please, you mute your volume back down. Thank you. We just want to get a roll call of who's here. If you need to speak, certainly let us know.
City Attorney, too.
Oh yeah, our City Attorney, TJ Rohr, is with us as well. So that we got to know there. Thank you. There's TJ. Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll get started. Before we do get started, I would like to say a special thanks, of course, to all of our department heads and our staff for all that you're doing. We know it is tough, what we're having to go through right now, but we appreciate the efforts and all the work that you're doing to make us all as safe as possible. We want you to be as safe as possible. I know many of our department heads are working from home right now, and we thank you for that. Thank those that are still on the lines, and I know you're trying to be as safe as you possibly can in every area. So thank you for what you're doing there. Thank you all also to our medical personnel all over, not only here in Lenoir and Caldwell County, but across our state and nation for all that is being done. The test site staff that is down there doing so many things, we want them to be safe. Please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Our EMS, healthcare, our police and fire, all of our county officials that are involved with that, continue, please, to be as safe as you possibly can and follow all the guidelines for safe distancing. We continue to ask you to stay at home, continue to pray for everyone who is having to be out there.
Mayor, you need to hit your audio button. They can't hear you.
They can't hear me?
Unmute yourself.
Unmute myself.
Got it.
How about now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry for that. I was unmuted, I guess. I didn't know that I wasn't coming through the microphone. But please continue to be safe. There's so many things around our community that is going on right now, and we ask you to, if you will, to be a part of that. Be a part of, first, stay at home, stay safe, stay safe distancing as you are going out. But if you do things, a lot of communities are doing candles in their windows for hope, and I would encourage you to do that in all the neighborhoods around our city. They're doing many things.
Fire hazard. We don't want the fire department to come out.
Use electric candles, please, just to be safe. And there's so many neighborhood things that are going on. People in your neighborhoods, as you walk, and be safe and enjoy the things there as you can, as much as you can with your community. But the bottom line is to follow all the guidelines and be safe. We've had communications with a lot of our businesses. We're asking certainly our larger stores to be as careful and as safe as they possibly can. And I know they're going to be putting guidelines in place and already are. I know our chiefs have had conversations. I myself and others have had conversations with them, asking them to be as safe as they possibly can and limit as few people as they can at any one time coming into their store. So I ask you to keep that going as we do. So let's move now to our moment of silence and our Pledge of Allegiance as we join that and continue to pray for all of us to be safe in this terrible pandemic that we're involved in, and hope that it will be gone as soon as we can get rid of it in this country and around the nation and the world and be safe. Please join us now for a moment of silence. Remain standing for our pledge. Thank you. Please salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll move on then into our meeting tonight. First thing is matters that are scheduled for public hearing. We have an amendment to our Code of Ordinances. That's Section 17, Sanitation. We'll hold the hearing to consider amending the city's Code of Ordinances, Section 17, Sanitation, to repeal and replace Chapter 17, Sanitation, with the updated chapter, complete with revisions and an updated fee schedule. We have with us our Director of Public Works, Jared Wright, who will be bringing some information to us concerning this. So I will open the public hearing and hear from Mr. Wright.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members who are in attendance, and those that are joining us remotely. As you know, we've talked about updating our sanitation policies for several months now to accommodate a transition to automated collection. We wanted to take this opportunity to provide a brief presentation to highlight the significant ordinance changes that we are proposing tonight. So first, why are we doing this? Obviously, it is to prepare for automated collection, and as you know, that's using the one-arm trucks. That is as important now as ever, given the circumstances that we're all dealing with and trying to minimize exposure to our employees and minimize contact with potentially infected household goods and trash. So the quicker we can transition to automated collection, the sooner we can take our employees out of that line of fire, so to speak. We also need to establish conditions for refuse collection, including bulk collection, yard debris, white goods, and dumpster rental. Several of these things over the years have not been addressed in the ordinance. Let's face it, that sanitation chapter hasn't been updated very frequently since the late 70s, so now's the time to do that. Part of that move to automation and something that needs to be addressed is standardizing our carts. If you drive up and down our city streets now, you see that we don't have a standard cart that we require. You may have garbage or refuse placed in a rollout container. You may have it in a Rubbermaid bin. It may not be in a collection container at all. So we need to take this opportunity to standardize our carts, clarify ordinance violations. Now there's a lot of gray area on what a violation actually is and how to enforce that, and also to update our fee schedule to reflect those updated levels of service that we're providing. Okay, the first thing we want to present is just a brief update of the definition section. The current ordinance has a lengthy definition section that spends a lot of text on commercial handbills, newspaper, and non-commercial handbills. We really don't use that language to describe junk mail anymore, so we wanted to strike that. A couple of the updates that we are proposing, we want to define building material, which is not a typical item that we do collect. define bulk pickup, which is beyond what would fit in a rollout container. Also clarify what items are recyclables and add some more clarity to yard waste. We also want to provide a definition for a rollout container, and then include our roll-off dumpster definition, which is not currently in the ordinance. Okay, at this point, I want to go over a couple of sections and list the significant changes that we are proposing. In sections 17.2 through 17.5, this is where we're updating the collection schedule verbiage, the billing procedures, as well as suspension of service for non-payment. We also provide a private service option for non-residential customers. We do have commercial and industrial users in the city that have private dumpsters provided by private contractors. We still have provisions for that in the updated ordinance. Also, believe it or not, the current ordinance does not have any prohibition of burying or burning garbage, and we certainly want to state that that's prohibited. And also, something that's not captured in the current ordinance that we want to update is our provisions for special pickup. And what that is serving residents who have disabilities that prevent them from getting the garbage cart to the right-of-way where we can access it. We currently require a doctor's note, but that's not written in any of our policies. So we want to include that now and be sure that we have the written documentation to back up continuing to provide that service. Okay, in section 1721, this is a fairly comprehensive update. This is where we really set the guidelines for collection frequency and those conditions. Obviously, no loose trash. States that we, as sanitation employees, will not enter into buildings to collect trash. One recent addition, and this is something that's been added over the last several weeks as we've worked through this ordinance revision. No discarding of household goods from homes with highly infectious diseases, and this is just in an attempt to limit exposure to contagious diseases. Also, unfortunately, with the opioid epidemic that we continue to experience, hypodermic needles are something that we encounter quite frequently. We've addressed that with an update. And then we've clarified how we service the downtown properties. They're currently on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday collection schedule, although that was not specified in the current ordinance, so we want to continue providing that for our central business district or the downtown customers. So we wanted to add that. Also, a major change, we want to move toward a bulk pickup by appointment only.
What is that? What does bulk pickup mean? If I've got like a bunch of carpet, or I just renovated my house and I got just a bunch of trash that's bagged and properly done, then I would call you guys and say, I've got a big load, guys.
Yes, that's correct.
And then would I be, you probably get into this, is there going to be a charge for that?
We're proposing to offer one bulk collection at each customer or each residence per month. Beyond that, charges may be incurred.
Got it.
That's generous.
Per month is very generous.
We'll start there. And we have some areas where bulk pickup is regular each week, and then others that don't take advantage of the service.
Right.
Okay, section 22, and this is some of the meat and potatoes, if you will, of the change to automation and standardizing our carts. With the proposal, we are requiring customers to place all refuse in a cart that the city will provide. And this section explains what those carts are, how we will provide them, places a number on the carts of carts that will be provided based on the customer type. For residential uses, you will be provided one cart with the option to increase your carts up to a total of 3. Now, additional carts will incur additional fees. For our commercial and industrial customers, they'll be provided 2 carts with options to increase that to 6 total. We have some businesses here in the downtown district primarily, and this is what was on my mind. With these customers, they don't have access to dumpsters. So they rely on rollout carts, and they do generate trash based on the nature of their business. So we wanted to give them options for 2 to 6 carts depending on need. We also state that the city will provide maintenance for wear and tear on the carts. If you've watched automated collection, it's not necessarily the easiest and calmest process. It can be described as violent. You know, the arm snatches the can, dumps it, and sets it back down. So the carts do incur some wear and tear, lids, wheels, cart bodies, etc. And we're offering to provide maintenance to those for our customers free of charge. Also, another key element that we want to include, this establishes a time limit for the cart to be placed in the right-of-way. We're starting at 24 hours after collection. We expect all carts to be moved from the right-of-way and back at the residence or the business within 24 hours. Another common topic that we deal with and want to address, we want to make some clarifications for our yard waste. Currently, we don't have any real size limitations on the brush that we collect. We do specify the size of the brush, 4-inch in diameter and 6 feet in length, but beyond that, pile size is something that we want to address. This proposed ordinance includes pile size limitations of 6 by 6 by 5. Anything beyond that would incur fees. So if you have 30 by 6 by 5 pile, you'll get the first 6 by 6 by 5 pile for free. Beyond that, each 6 by 6 by 5 pile will incur a $25 charge. Also, the existing rollouts that are in the city that we have been selling to customers for a number of years, we don't want customers to not be able to use those, so we're stating that they may be used for yard debris. This leaves out of leaf collection season, grass clippings, etc. We ask that customers put those in that existing green container that's out there unbagged. We would much rather be able to use our tippers on the existing rear loading trucks that we have to dump that cart on our brush or yard debris collection day, as opposed to handling bags, because there are variances in tipping fees between yard debris and standard household garbage. And if we take the yard debris to our brush dumping site, it can't be bagged anyway. So the best solution is to put it unbagged in that existing yard waste container.
Is a yard waste container the same as because I've never used the yard waste container. Is it the same as the regular trash can? Or is it bigger?
Same size, yeah, they're 95 to 96 gallon.
Okay, all right. I've never used that before, so I didn't know. That one, I just didn't know. Okay, thank you.
What he's talking about is using the ones we have now.
Using the ones we have now.
Yeah,
Our
the one
regular garbage
your regular
cans.
garbage can, the green one. that you
Those
have.
as your.
I don't have a green one.
Well, okay.
Let's sell you one.
So you'll get a green one. You'll have a
So
But will
will
the
I get?
machine pick those up?
Yeah, not the automated machine.
Okay.
It'll certainly pick those up, but we want to save those for household trash.
Gotcha.
Our current fleet of trucks will pick those up.
Gotcha.
So if I don't have a green,
There you go, okay.
if I don't have a green thing, I don't know what that is because I've never had one. And I've lived in several.
What do you
houses.
use, just regular garbage cans?
I got a toter can from Lowe's. I bought on my own.
Okay.
Those are my own private use.
on wheels.
On wheels, yeah. I told her that's great.
Then you can use that for household.
You can use that for his,
Yard.
If our truck will service that can, yes. If our tipper on the back of the truck will not pick your can up, then no, you'll be required to have a green
does.
can.
Those guys can go. It dumps
Okay.
it.
And
So
we're
those are
encouraging,
for yard.
excuse me?
That'll be for yard.
Yes.
Just for yard.
Yes, and we're encouraging folks that have those green cans to definitely use them for yard waste. Again, we don't want them to be cast aside, go to waste, think they have to get rid of that can or it's just taking up space. It's definitely usable, but we want to also encourage folks to use that in lieu of placing bags. Matter of fact, we don't want to pick up yard waste because oftentimes yard waste is much heavier than standard trash.
Yeah.
So when it's bagged, if it gets rained on, if it gets UV exposure, the bag deteriorates, and before you know it, you have a pile of grass or wet leaves in the road that then we have to service.
Okay.
And the last point will be, we're just clarifying our loose leaf collection season. It is and will remain October 15th through January 15th, and of course that fluctuates a little bit based on when the leaves actually fall and how much rain we get during that season.
Okay, so a question on leaves. I just moved here, let's pretend, and it's outside of leaf season, and the house that I bought has not been touched over the leaf season. Do you want me to bag those leaves?
No, put them in the yard debris container and crunch them down in there.
Over a period of a few weeks.
Put 'em in
If
one.
I have one.
In that case, call and schedule a bulk pickup.
Right, that's what
Right.
he's saying. That right there, okay. Call it, because I think that is critical. I mean, I think it's a great service to be able to have. Even if I have to pay for it, that is
Sure.
well worth it.
Right. And what we're trying to avoid are misuses of the system and
Yes.
bulk collection. You know, what we experience now, every week is bulk
Yes.
pickup week at some stops.
Yes.
And we want to discourage that. Still provide the service, but do it within reason.
I understand, yeah, that's good.
Okay, the following sections, there were just some brief updates that we provided. Code enforcement, of course, we want to outline the policies for enforcing violations or identifying and then enforcing violations of the ordinance. Section 1725 just simply states that if a contractor produces the waste, we will not pick that up. And that's home building, renovations, landscaping, cutting trees, et cetera. And we practice that now, but we want to have it written.
Good. That's good.
We have updated our white good collection policy. Currently, we pick up white goods free of charge, and these are your standard appliances, excluding microwaves. We're going to continue to pick up white goods, but there is going to be a fee associated with that. We do have a scale for one item. We're offering $25 for each additional item at the same stop, $15 for each additional item. And you know, providing this service free of charge now, we're left holding the bag on a lot of things. So we just want to address that moving forward.
Does this appear in your water bill? Or how does this?
Yes, it'll be billed with utilities.
Okay.
Something that we've never had in the ordinance that is a very popular service we offer is the roll-off dumpster rental policy.
How many of those do we have?
We have 5.
Okay.
We have 5 roll-off 20 cubic yard containers, and there is usually a wait list to get one of those.
Wow.
So we just want to clarify those policies, include rental fees, time frames, what can and can't go in the dumpster. We've also clarified the materials that we do not collect. Most of you here in attendance and not here listening remotely, you know what we won't collect. We won't collect building material, tires, fluorescent bulbs, wet paint. Just wanted to cite that. Excuse me. Batteries, right. But we're also encouraging recycling of those materials. You know, you can certainly recycle batteries, light bulbs, electronics at our recycling center. So
We still do that at
Yes.
the recycling center on Penton Avenue.
Yes, and we considered including the location in the ordinance, but if we ever add another facility or change locations, I didn't want to have to go through another ordinance amendment, so.
I understand.
And also, Section 1729, it does update our ordinance violation fees. Currently, it's $10, which are rarely, if ever, enforced. Now we're proposing a first violation fee of $50. For chronic offenders, we have a sliding scale that goes to 100 for the second offense, 150 for the third offense, and that's within a 90-day period. Something that comes to mind, you have folks that like to leave their garbage can on the sidewalk, and instead of pulling it back to the house, carrying a bag out and dropping it in, but the can stays on the sidewalk. Well, with our can or cart placement limitations that we're establishing, and then the sliding or chronic violator language that we've included in this ordinance, we hope to address situations like that, among others.
Now, assuming someone's on vacation or something like that, needing to coordinate or just kind of talk through that, because it could be, I'm gone for a week,
Right.
but not in violation.
Sure.
You hit on something right there. So is the city going to mark off on the curbside or something, an area for the?
Yes.
Okay.
We're
And if you covered
coordinating.
that, I'm sorry, I missed it.
No, I haven't discussed it now. It's something that we're having internal conversations about,
Okay.
conversations with the COG folks that are conducting the study, the transition study, and the cart supplier. When those carts are distributed, they're going to be placed in the spot that they're expected to be for collection. Those will be marked. There's going to be educational material affixed to the cart, so when the homeowner collects his cart that first time, there's flyers, there's brochures included with that, and then we're going to rely on our information director, Mr. Harris, to push out information via social media too.
That's a great idea.
Got a question. Go ahead, Mike.
You said something earlier about the collection schedule.
Yes, sir.
With this new procedure with the new rollouts and everything, will the collection schedules change?
We're anticipating around 100 customers changing, but considering we have 8,700 in the city, that's as good as we could expect. So by and large, no, the collection day will not change, but we will have a few instances where that does change.
Okay. And also, you mentioned something about the handicap and the elderly.
Yes, sir.
What procedures put in place to identify the disabled and the handicap?
Usually we're contacted by the property owner or a representative of that property owner, and we simply require a doctor's note to verify that there is a condition present that prevents them from getting the cart there. And after that's internally reviewed, we will assign them a special collection.
Oh, okay. So the handicap will be signed a special place, did you say?
Usually that involves our staff going onto a carport or onto a sidewalk nearby.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, thank you.
Essentially permission for us to enter private property to retrieve that key.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay,
Got another question for you. Go ahead. Is that John?
Yeah, that's me, Jonathan Bill. Mr. Wright,
Yes, sir.
the bulk pickup that you mentioned, is that going to take the place of our annual trash bash? Are we going to continue that particular type of pickup?
The bulk pickup that we're proposing will take the place of trash bash.
Okay, so, and then also,
That's fine, we should do it all year.
white goods pickup that we're talking about, I imagine that we typically recycle that material. And when that material is recycled, the proceeds from that recycling, does it go into a different line item in our budget?
It's very little, I'm sure.
It's very little, and it typically goes back to the general fund. However, most of the recycling that we incur is paid out to the fees that the folks we contract out with to actually collect the items.
So is it even a wash? We lose money recycling.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
And the losing the trash bash, in my opinion, is not really that big of a deal because now it's year round.
Yeah.
Right. I just need to call and it's gone, which to me is fantastic.
So you can get rid of your items whenever you need to,
That's right.
rather than wait until the
Right.
trash bash week,
Yes.
which will not have any longer.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
I do
Every week
too.
is turned into trash bag.
Yeah.
That gonna happen.
Okay, I want to highlight the updates to the fee schedule. The solid waste fee currently is proposed to remain $10 per month. Additional carts will be $5 per month per cart, and for residential uses, that's 1 to 3 carts. For commercial or industrial users, that's 2 to 6 carts. Bulk pickup, we are offering the 1 free bulk collection at each customer per month. Additional bulk pickups with $25 each. For white goods, $25 for 1 item, $15 for each additional item at the same address. Yard waste, here are those dimensions on the brush piles, 6 by 6 by 5, free. $25 for each specified dimension beyond 6 by 6 by 5. And then fines, as I mentioned, 50 for a general fine, 50, 100, 150 for chronic violators.
The additional cart, this is if I want a second cart at my as a residential cart, correct? That's
Correct.
what that means? Can I just buy it straight out rather than paying $5 a month?
You're going to continue to be assessed the $5 a month.
Even if I purchase my own, I'm still going to have to be charged $5 a month.
Yeah, and what it is to offset additional tipping fees from you generating more trash. It's a cost that we're continually incurring, so it's a cost that we're passing on to the customer that's generating more trash.
It's not just to cover the cost of the cart itself.
Right.
Understood.
Service.
And Jared, is there is there a limit, like if you have to have space to have it a second, or is that?
Yes, carts have to be placed 5 feet of clear space all around, and that's from additional carts, mailboxes, landscaping, and all of that will be in the educational material when it goes out.
Jared, I got it. There are certain times a year where people generate more trash than others, like Christmas. And so you can imagine if, depending on when Christmas falls, your container's full in a day or two. So now people just put it all at the street. How do you handle those odd situations? They just need to call for a special pickup?
Call for a bulk
Okay.
collection.
Thank you.
And the folks that know around Thanksgiving and Christmas, they're going to have family over and they're going to generate a lot of trash. Maybe they save their 1 bulk collection per month until after those holidays.
Okay. Makes sense.
I think that's a great question. I think It's just getting educated and knowing how the
Correct.
system works,
Right.
to where you know how, I got one a month. I know how to do this. Learning all that stuff. I think the informational piece going out to the public is going to be critical.
This is one of the instances where we can do a video, 5-minute video to kind of go over the basics
Yep.
and have
Right.
that available. And
Yeah.
That'd be good.
We have definitely considered video.
Yeah, we most definitely need to do that to educate everybody.
Yeah,
Not, we're gonna get hit with all kind of
questions and
questions
phone's gonna
about it.
blow
And
up.
we fully expect that anyway, but we're gonna do
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
we can on the front end
But
to
I mean, this is
answer several.
This is great. I think this is a great improvement.
Okay, and the
And
last.
it's good for our staff,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, he may say this later, but, I mean, this is not something Lenoir's doing unique to Lenoir. We've polled other cities of similar size around the area and around the state, and a lot of folks that moved here are used to these type of systems in Hickory or Boone or Morganton or wherever. So you can see in your packet, there's some fees and charges there that our rates are very competitive and probably better than most of those you see in the packet. So just want to pass that along and share as well.
Thank you. Okay, just a quick update on schedule and where we are in the process. We expect deliveries of the new carts to begin May 4th through the 11th, and that's we've given ourselves a 1-week window to start receiving carts, and they will, when we get shipments, they will be distributed, and we're working with the cart supplier to nail down those dates. But as of a conference call yesterday, that's where we are.
Will the supplier be delivering those, or will
Yes.
that be our job?
The supplier will distribute those as well.
Excellent.
To each home.
And one of the attractive things about working with this supplier is they can scan a barcode and marry that can to that physical address and then provide us that database so we know exactly where every can is supposed to be. May 11th through the 18th, we expect to begin running the automated collection in our pilot areas, which is the Monday route. May through June, we're going to continue, hopefully on 2-week intervals, adding additional days routes. And then we're shooting for full implementation and working out any remaining kinks by July 1.
I didn't know I could get so excited about picking up trash.
I know, this is great.
And that's it.
Gonna be fun to watch, isn't it?
Any other questions, I'll be happy to answer if I can.
Anybody have any questions of Jared here on the council or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Have already been addressed, but with all of this information, and I think we have talked about this in the past, a lot of people don't know how to get up on our website or follow what the city is doing. What plans do you have to address this to people that don't have the privy to internet or that kind of information? How do we get the information out to them about the schedules and the containers and the fees and all of that?
We've considered a couple of options for areas that will require special can placement that's going to be more difficult to achieve. We're going to go door to door and distribute that information. Also, when the new carts are delivered, there's going to be an information packet hanging on that cart with FAQs, cart placement guidance, schedules, anything that we feel like could come up. We're going to have printed material distributed when that cart's distributed to the address.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Jared, you're doing a great job. You and your staff. This is good.
Got a great plan put together. Thank you for all the work on
And
it.
we're all excited about it.
Yeah.
We're all excited about it.
Can't wait for that.
Good trash talk.
Talk trash anytime.
Anyone else have any questions for Jared while he's here? Yes, sir, John.
No, Ralph.
Oh, Ralph, I'm sorry.
Right. Jared, back to the uptown tenants. You've got a multi-tenant building. Is that, how are you going to handle that for uptown tenants?
We'll have a specific cart for each tenant.
What about, think about things like Service League, who probably has no room for a cart? Or an upstairs tenant, what does upstairs tenant do with the cart?
In those special instances, and we hope there's not a lot of those that we encounter, we'll have to work with the property owner to determine what works best, a storage location or an alternative, and that will require some face-to-face meeting time with that tenant.
Can they go in the back, so maybe behind the building? I mean, if there's an open area for
When they're
that?
doing it now, they gotta be doing it now.
It depends on the building.
You gotta, I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be hard to address. Okay. That's fine. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But what we found is that it's unique again here, but it's been done before other places. It's just trial and error, and as Ben said, education and time will take care of most of these things.
Well, like anything, you know, there's going to be issues we have to deal with and figure out as we go. So
There'll be some hiccups. but-
good to know that we can start thinking about that right now. Okay, any other questions? We are in the public hearing. Anyone else who would like to address, talk about anything, council or whatever? If not, I'm going to close the public hearing and turn it over to council for action concerning this Code of Ordinances, Section 17, amending the Code of Ordinances for that.
I'm going to ask, John, news topic, do you have any questions?
If he's still there.
If you're still.
Good, thank you.
Okay, he's good.
He's good? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the amendment of the ordinance as presented.
Okay. Have a motion from Councilmember Stevens to accept the change in the Code of Ordinances as presented to us, amending the Code of Ordinances for Section 17.
Call roll.
Yeah, we'll call the roll on that. All right, then we'll go, you want to vote
Individually or?
That's fine.
individually? Okay. All here in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. On, all those on video? Council members? Aye. Aye. Ralph? John? Okay. Thank you. Good. Thank you for that. All that is unanimous vote on that. We appreciate that, Jared, and what you're doing with it. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on then to consent agenda items tonight, as several on there. Item A are minutes from our city council meeting of Tuesday, March 17th, as submitted. Item B are minutes on the committee, let's see, that is the budget meeting, FY 2020-21 budget meeting, held during the committee of the whole meeting on Tuesday, March 24th, as submitted. Item C is an authorizing resolution. This is a grant application. There's a recommendation of approval for the resolution requesting funding from the Department of Transportation's Federal Highway Administration Recreational Trails Program as submitted. Item D is a Title VI non-discrimination resolution and policy statement. The recommendation is for approval of a resolution to adopt a Title VI policy for the City of Lenoir to prohibit discrimination in programs and services and in activities receiving federal financial assistance, and approval of the city's Title VI non-discrimination policy statement. Note, the purpose of the policy and the statement is to ensure compliance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This policy must be submitted to the NCDOT. Item E are amendments. This is to the personnel policy, asking for amendments to the city personnel policy relating to the federal legislation for the COVID-19 pandemic. Item F is a proclamation. This is for the Fair Housing Month, and we will be proclaiming the month of April 2020 as Fair Housing Month throughout the city of Lenoir and Caldwell County. Item G is a proclamation for the National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. This would be, if we approve this proclamation, proclaiming the week of April 12th through the 18th, 2020 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week throughout the city of Lenoir and Caldwell County. This proclamation is in honor of the 20 employees who serve in the E911 Communications Center. I do have these proclamations tonight to present, and I won't read the whole thing, but Fair Housing Month, as whereas April 11th, 2020 marks the 52nd anniversary of the passage of the U.S. Fair Housing Law, Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 as amended, which enunciates a national policy of fair housing without regard to race, color, creed, national origin, sex, familial status, and handicap, and encourages fair housing opportunities for all citizens. and the Catawba Valley Association of Realtors is committed to highlighting the fair housing law through Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968. So we would be approving that, adopted this the 20th day of April 2020 for that. And of course, the proclamation for the Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, April 12th through the 18th of 2020. Whereas the Lenoir Police Department telecommunicators play a vital role in the protection of human life and property in our community. And whereas the Lenoir Police Department telecommunicators have been successful serving the public safety communication needs of the city of Lenoir and throughout the year. And then there's some more on that, and this would be for National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in the city of Lenoir in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our city and our first responders safe. This also the 7th day of April 2020. So those are both would be presented as part of the this consent agenda. So I open it up for any questions or discussion or motions concerning our consent agenda.
To make a motion to approve consent agenda items A through F. F, is it A through G?
G, A through G. Yes. Okay, we have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Thomas to approve the consent agenda items as presented A through G. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And all approved from the calling in, okay? Thank you, and that carries unanimously. Thank you very much. We'll move then to, we don't have, of course, any citizens with us this evening, so I don't think we have any reports of petitions of citizens. We do not have any reports of boards and commissions tonight. We'll move on to the report and recommendations of the city manager, Mr. Hildebrand. Anything?
Mayor, cancel a couple items for information. The ABC board will meet tomorrow, an electronic meeting beginning at 2 o'clock, and I don't have the details of that, but that's the plan at 2 o'clock tomorrow. The Economic Development Commission will meet on April 14th with a Zoom meeting. I think that'll start either 8 or 9 o'clock. They're still setting the parameters up of that meeting. The Planning Board is looking to meet, I think, later this month, acting as Historic Commission. Details of that are still being worked out, but I think that's April 27th. And then I would mention also Friday is Easter Friday, and so that means the City Hall will be closed. Even though their doors have been closed the last few weeks for public, folks have been working, but we will be closed for a holiday.
Were you on mute? Were you just on mute?
Were you muted? Would you please repeat all that?
Can you?
I think
Did you hear Mr. Hildebrand?
The folks at home may not have heard it. I think the folks at home heard it. The
Yeah,
folks on the chat did not. So.
I just saw like a little message come across. We're learning.
Mr. Rohr put he barely heard it. So, anything, Mr. Rohr, you want us to repeat?
The whole thing. Whole meeting.
Oh, good.
Read all of it again.
Okay, let's do it. We'll do it one more time. Everybody, can you hear? We'll ask him to speak louder.
Are you joking, or you want to?
Not joking.
Oh, you're joking. Okay.
Good one, Ike.
All right. Anything else from Mr. Hildebrand? Any items for council action? Okay. All right. Got enough. All right. Any report and recommendations of our city attorney, Mr. Rohr? Thank you. I do not have anything from the mayor's office tonight. We still have things we're working on, but with all this going on, we'll just have to wait till we can pull some things together and talk with some people about some appointments and different things. Anything from our city council members that need to be brought up?
I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank Scott for keeping us informed of the virus and all the people that have been affected, and an email at least sometimes twice a day. So Scott, I just want to say thank you for keeping us informed.
Thank you for that, sir. We appreciate that. Anyone else have any comments to make? Okay, Mr. Presswood.
Yes, Ike, could you change that background you're sitting at?
Man, I tell you, I keep calling from every single council member over that background, except our city attorney.
And me. Go Ike, go Ike.
Does that require a motion?
Mr. City Attorney, will you help me address this, please?
As a beautiful background.
Together on that. Me and Kristen work together.
I make a motion to send sanitation over his house.
Mayor, are we adjourned?
Not yet. We're working on it, but yeah, we like the background. Go ahead and keep putting it up there. That's okay.
Don't worry, Ike, the sanitation can't come in the house.
Yeah.
You can get one of those special requests. Mr. Mayor, I do have
Okay.
one thing.
Councilmember Willis.
On kind of a somber note, I left the community college about a month ago, and of course my role there for the past 2.5 or 3 years has been involved with the Small Business Center. Oh yeah, let me unmute myself. Thank you. Thank you for the grunts. Yes, I knew that. Sorry. Yeah, as part of my role was as a Small Business Center director, and I'm still doing some stuff part-time. And I know you said it earlier, Mr. Mayor, about making sure that people, the first things first is they take care of each other and themselves and make sure they following all the rules and doing all that stuff. But I get call after call after call every day about some of our friends and our families and our businesses that are going through some very, very difficult times. So there are a lot of people that are working their tails off. I know, Chrissy, you're in the middle of it at Wells Fargo, and the banks are doing everything they can in their nature and their powers to be able to do things that we've never even had to deal with before. So what I'm asking people is, hey, take care of yourself. Please continue to support your businesses the best way that you can, in any way that you can that's safe. And then also be patient. I think it's very, very important to be patient with the banks, to be patient with us, to be patient with our state and our federal governments with what they're trying to do. We're in a country where we like instant gratification, and this is one of those cases where we've never experienced this. And so please, I know a lot of people are anxious and nervous and confused, and a lot going on. So for those who I'm just saying it again, you hear it all the time, but just please don't forget that. I think is really, very important, especially at a local level. I mean, we're hearing it at all these other levels, and we really don't realize that it's hitting home. So please keep those guys in your thoughts and prayers. Please support them the best way that you can, and please be patient. And I know the city of Lenoir is doing everything we can to help our citizens and our businesses the best that we can with what we can do. And so I just wanted to say that and make sure.
Well, that's very true, Ben, and thank you for that. We do need to continue to support our local businesses any way we can, in the safest way we can. Obviously, our restaurants, you can do takeouts and things and be safe with that. And the banks, you can do the drive-throughs, and all the businesses that have drive-throughs. Please continue to do that, but do everything you can to help them. They're struggling right now, and we know that. We're looking for every way we can to help, so we appreciate that.
Well, and even though there's no Small Business Center director at the community college, if somebody needs assistance or needs some guidance and they reach out, they will be taken care of. Right. So there's support there at the community college. Caldwell Community College is also going through a lot of changes. Everybody is. But if somebody needs help, you will not get turned down. Just call us, email us. We'll take care of it. We'll make sure you get in front of somebody that you need.
And have patience.
And have patience.
Any other comments from anyone? This is the week of Easter. Please be thinking about that. I know we can't be at our places of worship like we have been, but please continue to keep all these people in your thoughts and prayers as we go through this special week in our lives. And so anyway, I wish everyone the best. Continue to be safe as much as you can. Stay at home as much as you can, but let's just all work together. We can do it if we all work together and do what we're being asked of right now, is to stay as safe as we can and reduce this virus as quickly as we possibly can. And that is done now by no contact and staying apart and doing all the things that we can to stay safe. So thank you for that. If nothing else to come before us tonight, we stand adjourned. Thank you for being with us. Thank you guys on the phones.